Hello everybody, welcome to the webinar. I'd like to thank you all for attending. Today I'm going to show you the strategies I use that will turn your business into what I call a profit generating machine. So get your pen and paper ready, as I'm sure there will be a lot of strategies here that you'll want to write down. So let's enjoy the webinar. Do you find you're spending heaps of money on your marketing and not getting the results that you want? Many people do this. Or are you working 60 to 80 hours a week in your business and not achieving the results you'd like, or having the time to spend with your family and friends? Does your website look pretty but is not generating you the number of leads you need to make your business grow? Have you always wanted to take your business to the next level so as to have the profits and lifestyle you've always wanted? If you have answered yes to any of these questions, this webinar is definitely for you. You know that only 3% of business owners create million-dollar businesses? However, with the right strategies, taking action, being accountable and focused, and using the strategies I'm about to show you here today, it's actually quite easy to create that million-dollar business. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, more than 80% of small businesses fail within the first 18 months of starting. I think that's pretty scary. The main reason for early failures are lack of capital, lack of business fundamental knowledge, and not understanding the key to successful marketing. My name is Kevin Hargraves. I'm a business development expert. I work to help business owners grow their businesses exponentially. For more than 35 years now I've been growing businesses, and after having a few small businesses that I would call only doing pretty average, I reached a point in my life that I decided I just wanted to create a business that gave me more time and more profit. I purchased a small landscape supply business that the previous owner was only working 2 to 3 days a week. Had an annual revenue of only $230,000, and he had one old tip truck doing deliveries. I started looking for ways to grow this business. First I found the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then I read the book The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, which was about what he called technicians having what he called an entrepreneurial seizure. Michael said that although many professional and tradies alike were great at doing what they did, they never learned how to run a business. Just at that time I noticed that Michael Gerber was having a one-day seminar in Brisbane, which I registered for. At the end of the seminar he was selling 12 months coaching packages, to which I subscribed. After implementing all of these new strategies in my business, it just took off. By the end of 3 years, I was turning over $2.5 million and had 14 tip trucks doing deliveries. This business continued to grow for the next 3 years until I sold it and took a trip around Australia for a year. I then purchased a Pettis suspension store and turned it into a chain of 4 stores within 3 years. I've had similar achievements with many other businesses in all types of industries. Since then, I've always been able to grow businesses fast for both myself and my clients. Here's a testimonial from Brad Smith. I helped Brad buy his first business and then showed him my strategies on how to grow it. Within 3 years, his annual revenue had tripled. Brad went on to sell the business in 3 years for 4 times what he paid for it. Here's the key to successful marketing. You must be able to enter the conversation taking place in the head of your prospect. Or another way to look at it is to be able to address the number one question on your prospect's mind at just the right time. So how do you do this? It's actually quite simple when you know and understand the fundamentals of marketing. A conversation that's taking place in every prospect's mind revolves around 2 major points. There's a problem they have that they don't want, and there's a result they want that they don't have. Now, believe it or not, there's actually a marketing formula I use that takes these 2 points into account and spits out a message so compelling it practically forces your prospects to buy what you sell. And it's called the conversion equation, and it looks like this: interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. The interrupt is your headline, which means it's the first thing someone sees when they visit your website, read any of your marketing, or hear you speak. When someone asks you what you do, it's the first words out of your mouth. That's your headline, and it must address the problem your prospects have that they don't want. Next is the engage, which is your subheadline. It's the second thing your prospect sees or hears, and it must address the result your prospect wants but doesn't have. And third is the educate, which is the information you provide either verbally or in writing that presents evidence to your prospects that you and your product or service are superior in every way to your competition. Unfortunately, most businesses aren't different from their competitors, and that's why you must innovate your business to create what I refer to as a market-dominating position. You should write that down. You must make your business unique. It must stand out from the crowd. It must make your prospects say to themselves that they would be absolute idiots to buy from anyone else but you, regardless of price. And finally is the offer. You must create a compelling offer that makes it so irresistible your prospects can't turn it down. But here's the other critical fundamental of marketing. Because of the saturation of marketing messages these days, most prospects have become numb to most marketing. But following my conversion equation can dramatically overcome this. But even with this powerful tool in play, it will still take multiple touch points before your prospects will buy what you sell. For most businesses today, it takes anywhere from 20 to more than 100 touch points before a prospect makes their buying decision. But following the conversion equation reduces the touch points to somewhere between 5 to 12 points of contact. But here's the key. Most businesses don't follow up with their prospects at all. And this provides a huge window of opportunity for any business that does follow up to position themselves as the dominant force in their industry. But in order to have the opportunity to get your message in front of your prospect 5 to 12 times, you must find a way to collect their contact information, and that's the purpose of the offer. Most businesses offer something that only appeals to prospects I call now buyers, prospects ready to make an immediate purchase. Unfortunately, now buyers make up less than 1% of the total number of prospects that are in the market to buy what you sell. These businesses typically offer prospects a free consultation, a discount coupon, a free assessment, a complimentary quote, or the biggest mistake of all is call us. For most businesses, all of their marketing material, their website, their business card, all list their phone number as their sole offer. And that only appeals to that 1% of now buyers. The remaining 99% of viable prospects are investigating and gathering information about what you sell. They're searching for information because they want to determine who is offering the best value. You see, prospects don't shop price, they shop value. The only reason prospects consider price is that most businesses don't give them any other value proposition to consider except price. Remember what I said a moment ago about making your business unique, creating a market-dominating position? Most businesses don't do that, and since they and all of their competitors look exactly the same, prospects are forced to shop price. So let's compare this site with the fundamentals we just discussed. First, you must create a market dominating position. This doctor could actually create 9 of them by simply positioning his specialty in each of these 9 individual areas. But for example, let's say he decides to start with the top condition on his list, emotionally disturbed kids. These are kids that yell, scream, and constantly have a highly belligerent attitude towards their parents. They scream at them and are known in some cases to threaten the parents. These kids can't be reasoned with, and these poor parents have no clue how to deal with this situation. So here's what this doctor needs to do. Forget his website completely. This doctor needs what I call a squeeze page or a landing page. This is a single page that's online and that specifically addresses only this one condition. So what should this page look like, and what should it say? Remember the second fundamental: you must enter the conversation taking place in the head of your prospect, because there's a problem they have that they don't want, and there's a result they want they don't have. This is where we implement the first 2 components of the conversion equation, the interrupt and engage. The headline is the interrupt, and it must address the problem they have and they don't want. Here's the squeeze page we created for this doctor. Notice the headline. Are you sick and tired of the yelling, screaming, and belligerent attitude of your child? Do you think that addresses the problem these parents have and don't want? Would you say it's about a 100% on the money headline? Now for the engage, which is the sub-headline. It must address the result they want and they don't have. It says here, now you can discover the secrets to controlling your child and instantly restore peace and quiet in your home. You think that's what they're looking for? Now let's look at the third conversion component, the educate. In the doctor's original website, because he's trying to appeal to all prospects, his video said this: Greeting parents, I want to welcome you to remarkable parenting. You will find tons of great information here, with hundreds of pages of articles. Think how ridiculous this sounds. If I'm one of these parents with a kid that has a belligerent attitude, do I want to read hundreds of pages of articles? Or am I searching for a specific solution to a specific problem? You see why most websites these days are basically a total and complete waste of money? They don't address the things your prospects are truly looking for. Here's the new video script we created for this doctor. It says, as a parent, are you struggling to gain control of your child's attitudes and emotions? Is your child yelling and screaming at you while often displaying a belligerent and sometimes threatening tone that no matter what you do or try, you just can't seem to get under control? My name is Dr. John Smith. I help parents like you every day learn the techniques that will solve these frustrating and destructive behavioural patterns once and for all. In fact, let me prove it to you. Enter your first name and email in the box to the right, and I'll send you a series of 60-second techniques that will immediately restore peace and quiet in your home. Do you think that this might just get more prospects to respond to this message? And that brings us to the final component of the conversion equation, the offer. Look at the doctor's original offer. It was for a free consultation. The only prospects that will accept that type of offer are those now buyers. And remember that they're less than 1% of the total number of prospects looking for this type of help. When your offer is to call me, that basically says you're trying to sell to me. We are so used to getting sales pitches these days that we resist calling anyone for fear of being sold to. This type of offer is called an incentive offer. Incentive offers only work on common purchases, emergency situations, and impulse purchases. And remember, most prospects don't buy until they've been exposed to your messaging somewhere between 5 to 12 times. If you tell your prospects to call you, and most won't, how do you keep marketing to them? Obviously you can't. The secret to effective marketing is to offer what prospects truly want: information. Look at the last sentence of the child psychologist's video script. Enter your first name and email in the box to the right, and I'll send you a series of 60-second techniques that will immediately restore peace and quiet in your home. Now that's a zero risk offer to the prospect, and it offers them something they truly want: a solution to their problem. They can receive it by simply providing their name and email address without having to speak to anyone. That's why the offer on this Dr. Squeeze page says, learn the secrets to gaining and maintaining complete control of your child in less than 60 seconds. Is that a highly compelling offer that would appeal to the majority of prospects directed to this page? And do you now see why we call it a squeeze page or a landing page? There is no navigation buttons on this page at all to distract the prospect. In fact, there's only one action they can take. Enter their contact information. Otherwise, they have to close the page completely, and if they do, that's when we can redirect them to the doctor's main website to see if there's something else there that might grab their attention. That information on offer provides them with proof that this doctor can actually get them the results they're looking for. And then within that information is an offer for them to schedule a consultation with the doctor, which they are now more likely to do. But let's consider these numbers from the doctor's original website. He could easily generate 300 or more leads per month using a pay-per-click campaign on Facebook, where the leads are sent direct to his original website. He then averages around 10% of those leads that will see his offer for the free consultation and will call to inquire about it, or 30 prospects. Notice I said inquire about it, not request it. Out of that, 10% will call and consent for the consultation, which equals 3 prospects. Fortunately for most professionals like this doctor, they typically convert 100% of the prospects they get in front of. So those 3 prospects will now become patients. But note, out of the 300 leads that doctor winds up with only 3 new clients. And that's the national average today. 1% of all leads generated will typically convert to a new client. I think that's pathetic. Now let's look at the doctor's new squeeze page. First of all, let's leave the number of leads at 300 per month, because this squeeze page won't impact that number whatsoever. But let me ask you this, and please give me your honest opinion. Do you think that this new squeeze page will increase the number of prospects that will request this doctor's secrets to gaining and maintaining complete control of their child? The doctor was getting 10% at his old site. What percent do you think would request his new, more compelling offer? When I show clients this and ask them, they usually say somewhere between 30 and 50%. But suppose we stay really conservative and just say 20% request his new offer. That would mean 60 prospects would receive those secrets and actually see for themselves that this doctor's methods really work. And once they do, what percentage of those do you think might request a consultation with the doctor? Remember, before it was originally 10%. Again, when I ask most clients, they usually tell me somewhere between 30 to 50%. But we know originally converted 10%, so let's be really conservative and just leave that conversion rate the same. So out of the 60 patients requesting the doctor's secrets, 6 of them now request the consultation. And let's assume, like we did before, that the doctor converts all 6 of them into patients. That's an additional 3 patients per month, right? Now let's say the doctor only charges $800 for his services, even though in reality it's typically 3 times that amount. So $800 by 3 new patients is another $2,400 a month increase in revenue. That's an annual increase in revenue of $28,800. That's a dramatic increase in revenue, considering we are being ridiculously conservative and all we did was make some slight changes to the doctor's site. What if the prospects who consented to the consultation was 20% instead of 10? That means you would have created 9 new clients and an increase of $86,400 in annual revenue. And don't forget, we also used a very conservative fee of just $800. If you were to create a similar squeeze page, how many leads do you think it might generate for your business? Let's move on to my next lead generation strategy, which is joint ventures. Do any of you currently have a joint venture partnerships? Joint ventures involves 2 or more businesses that decide to form a partnership to share markets or endorse specific products or services to their customer base, usually under a revenue share arrangement. The key to creating successful joint partners is to find partners who service the exact same type of clients that need or want what you sell. Let me give you an example of this, and I'll use one that you're all familiar with, a florist. One of the most financially lucrative product lines for a florist is providing flowers for weddings. The average floral bill for a wedding often exceeds $3,000 for the ceremony and the reception. But what I've discovered about florists is they fall into what I refer to as an event chain. An event chain simply refers to a series of businesses that customers purchase from in a specific sequence. For example, a wedding will never take place until the engagement ring is purchased from a jeweler. So jewelers are at the forefront of every wedding chain. Once the young lady accepts that engagement ring, this event kicks into high gear. First, this young lady knows exactly where she wants to get married, so the number one thing on her agenda is to book the church or chapel where she wants the ceremony held. Second on the list is to line up a wedding planner. Weddings today are a really big deal, and often women like to use the services of a professional wedding planner. Next up, she wants to secure the venue for her reception. She knows that most venues book out months in advance, so locking in that venue is high on a priority list. After that comes the wedding dress, so she begins to search for the perfect dress at an affordable price. Next is our florist. The bride-to-be will want to begin selecting her floral arrangements for both the wedding and the reception. Then after the florist comes the wedding cake, the printer for invitations and thank you cards, and depending on the financial ability of the bride-to-be, she may also be interested in hiring a limo, a DJ for the reception, a travel planner for the honeymoon, hotel, catering, and so on. This event chain is typical for this industry, and for the florist, it specifically identifies a multitude of potential and lucrative JV partners. But here's why this becomes so important. Every business above the florist has the potential to endorse and send prospects to the florist. Unfortunately, the florist has no control over the flow of those prospects. All of those businesses above the florist controls the joint venture relationship. So it's critical the florist create a compelling offer and good relationships with these businesses that they feel obligated to send prospects to the florist. But here's what's even better. The florist controls the prospect flow to all the businesses below the florist, and by establishing specific processes and procedures to make sure his customers use those businesses, the florist can negotiate compelling offers with those business owners as well. So let's consider these numbers. Say this florist cultivates a joint venture relationship with at least one of each of the businesses throughout the entire chain. And don't forget, he could have more than one. So staying ultra conservative with our estimates, would you agree this florist, since they have no control over the flow of prospects from these businesses, is it likely they could obtain at least one referral each month from just one of the businesses above them? I reckon that'd be pretty easy, don't you? Okay, would you also agree conservatively that since the florist controls the flow of prospects to the businesses below him, they could easily send at least one referral to each one of them every month? Keep in mind, these are very conservative estimates I'm using here. So since the average floral bill for the wedding is $3,000, then just one referral per month from just one of the businesses above the florist increases their annual revenue by $36,000. But say there was two, which is still being conservative, that would be $72,000. Now let's consider the businesses below the florist, where the florist controls the referral. Let's start with the wedding cake maker. The average price for a wedding cake these days is also around $3,000, and the florist could easily negotiate a 10% referral fee. So just a single referral per month produces an additional increase in the annual revenue of $3,600 to the florist. Now let's consider the printer. The average sale price for printing is $1,000 for invitations and thank you cards, and the florist again could receive a 10% referral fee. So that single referral per month produces an additional annual increase of $1,200. And don't forget, there are other vendors as well they have not included. But if we stop there, this florist has just increased his annual revenue by $40,800, and that's using ridiculously conservative numbers. Imagine if you continue to add up the revenue produced by all the additional referral fees the florist could earn from other vendors in the chain. This same process holds true for businesses that aren't in a chain. But just like the florist, they simply identify partners who service the exact same type of clients that need or want what they sell. Now, I realise this looks easy, but it's not, and here's why. You not only have to properly identify who would make an excellent joint venture partner for your business, but you also must determine the order to approach each one, how to approach them, and when to approach them. It's critical you do this properly, or you'll wind up burning through all your potential JV partners and come out with nothing in return. So conservatively, how many referrals would you estimate might be possible if just 5 other businesses were compelled to refer their customers to you for additional purchases? And one more thing before we move on. Remember earlier we discussed the critical importance of creating a highly compelling informational offer that would promise so much value to prospects they would knock your door down to get it? Suppose the florist offered this informational offer in their marketing. 5 things every bride should know to avoid disaster on their wedding day. This offer would place tons of prospects into their drip campaign and result in a tremendous increase in sales. These new sales can then be referred to their new JV partners and collect multiple referral fees every month. This would absolutely dwarf the revenue I just uncovered for you before. What I find really exciting about joint ventures is it's a strategy I help my clients implement immediately, and it begins generating instant cash flow for them right from the start. But let's keep going. I've got a lot more revenue I can find for you. So far we've discussed 2 lead generation strategies. Now let's discuss 2 lead conversion strategies, and let's start with downselling. Do any of you currently use a downsell strategy? Downselling is nothing more than offering a prospect an alternative product or service at a lower price when they decline your original offer. The goal is to turn the prospect into a client, so you not only realise some short-term financial benefit, but you gain the opportunity to do business with them again in the future. For example, local gyms always try to sell new members a full 1-year membership. But if that fails, they'll try to downsell them by offering them a 90-day health makeover membership. If that fails, they may go to a 30-day or possibly even a 1-week trial membership, because they know if they can just get them to buy something, the chances of them staying with them long term goes up exponentially. Let's consider the florist. Most guys show up at the florist to buy roses for their lady on Valentine's Day, her birthday, their anniversary, Mother's Day, and so on. But suppose a dozen roses cost $60 and the guy doesn't have that much to spend. Since he has flowers on his mind, do you think he would consider an alternative arrangement that was just as romantic for, say, $30? Do you realise that if the alternative cost was only $30 and the florist only used that downsell strategy once each day, which is highly conservative, that would add almost $9,500 in annual revenue for him? But that's just one downsell. Suppose the florist had alternatives for weddings, lower priced options for funerals, and so on. I estimate most businesses could easily develop 3 to 5 downsell opportunities. Next is how to create a revenue producing drip campaign. Let me ask you a question. When a prospect doesn't buy what you sell, how many times do you follow them up? Most businesses focus primarily on generating leads. But remember that on average, less than 1% of prospects are now buyers. 99% are not ready to purchase that day, but many of them will purchase sometime in the future if you continue to nurture them by staying in touch with them on an ongoing basis. Unfortunately, the vast majority of business owners rarely, if ever, follow up with their prospects after the initial contact. I'm sure if I researched your industry, I wouldn't find any other businesses like yours that have in place what I call a drip campaign. So why is that important? Listen to this very carefully. I mentioned it earlier, but I will want to reinforce it here. 80% plus of all sales occur between the 5th and 12th point of contact between the business and the prospect. 80%. Are you starting to see the opportunity here? This is where you need to implement a drip campaign. This is my second lead conversion strategy that will add significant revenue to your business. A drip campaign automatically delivers a form of communication to customers or prospects on a predetermined and scheduled basis. But here's the really cool part about this. Do you remember earlier when we were discussing how you need to create a compelling offer that practically forces prospects to request it? Once you create your compelling offer, all you have to do is take the specific segments from that offer and send it to your prospects on a consistent basis. Let me show you an example of how this was done for a client that owned a sunroom company. When homeowners consider any type of remodeling project, whether it's their kitchen, an updated bathroom, or in this case, installing a sunroom, wouldn't they love to get their hands on an ideas guide that features various models and state-of-the-art concepts? Let me show you the ideas guide that was developed for this sunroom company. Pretty impressive, wouldn't you agree? Well, would you like to hear the sad thing about this type of informational offer? Most prospects don't read it. They will request it with every intention of reading it, but only 20% of them actually will. That's okay though, because it's already done its job, which was to compel the prospect to give us their contact information so as we can begin our 5 to 12 touch points. And we simply use the information in the ideas guide to do that quickly, efficiently, and inexpensively. Here are a few examples from the sunroom company. Notice the ideas guide starts out with listing the 7 benefits of owning a sunroom. Benefit number 1, enjoy the outdoors 365 days a year. Obviously that's a huge reason why someone would buy a sunroom, but unfortunately 80% of prospects won't read that. So let's introduce that benefit in our drip campaign and drive it home to our prospects. This sunroom company did that using 6x11 oversized postcards, but they could have easily done it using email. Notice benefit number 4 says that owning a sunroom recharges your solar batteries. Here's the postcard that emphasizes that benefit. And benefit number 5 is major, as it educates prospects that a sunroom actually increases the value of their home. So here's the postcard that reinforces that fact. But my point in showing you this is to emphasize that once you create your compelling informational offer, you pretty much have everything you need to implement your drip campaign. But look what begins to happen from the first day you start your drip campaign. Let me go back to the child psychologist to show you the true impact of a drip campaign. If the child psychologist generated 300 leads per month, conservatively speaking, we said he would average 60 prospects that would opt in for his informational offer. Of those that did, 6 of the 60 would become patients of his. That means 54 prospects did not buy his services yet. Those are the prospects that now begin receiving the doctor's drip campaign. Of those 54 prospects, an additional 2 of them will typically buy in the next 30 days. This is a pattern that continues month after month for as long as the doctor continues to stay in touch with his prospects and continues to offer them value. Every month, 54 new prospects go into the top of the doctor's funnel, and 2 additional sales per 54 prospects continues to be delivered from the bottom of the funnel. Here's what the numbers look like after the first year. So at the end of year 1, the doctor will have generated 3,600 new prospects, 72 new clients through his squeeze page, but the doctor then produced a staggering 156 new clients through his drip campaign, and that's just in 1 year. This growth continues year after year for as long as the doctor maintains this sales process. But here's the problem. By month 12 of the first year, the doctor is generating 30 new patients every month. Is that a number the doctor can logistically handle? Because there's a limit to the number of patients this doctor can handle, and when that number is reached, this doctor can literally stop all lead generation efforts and let his drip campaign continue to produce additional patients far into the future. Now let's calculate how this strategy will conservatively impact your business. Remember, 80% of sales take place only after 5 to 12 points of contact, and none of your competitors are doing anything like this whatsoever. So since you'll be the only one in your market with this in place, you can logically expect to see a dramatic increase in both sales and conversions. However, for the purpose of today's exercise, let's stay extremely conservative and calculate just a 10% conversion rate from your drip campaign. Now that's an ultra-conservative estimate of what a drip campaign can easily produce for your business over the next 12 months. And that conservative amount can easily double each year, year after year, for as long as you keep your drip campaign in place. That's pretty exciting, don't you think? Okay, let's move on to our third profit formula area. This involves increasing the number of transactions with your prospects. In other words, getting them to buy from you more frequently than they do now. Here are two powerful revenue generating strategies that work: upsell and cross-sell. Are you familiar with upselling and cross-selling? When you go into McDonald's and the kid behind the counter asks you if you'd like your meal supersized, that's upselling. And then when the same kid asks you if you'd like an apple pie to go with your supersized meal, that's cross-selling. Upselling simply means offering a higher grade, quality or size of the item that the customer is interested in at the point when the customer is ready to buy. Cross-selling means offering other products or services which complement the item the customer is interested in at the point when the customer is ready to buy. Now here's what most businesses don't realise. 34% of prospects will buy additional products or services at the time of their original purchase, if they're asked to do so. Most businesses never ask them, and they lose out on this lucrative opportunity that dramatically increases their revenue. Let me show you a brilliant example of this. Take a look at this Groupon that was offered for 3 oil changes plus 3 additional services of your choice per visit. The price they are offering for is $79. That's just about $26 an oil change. And then they add an additional $6.50 for oil disposal, so the total of each oil change is less than $33. Now that's obviously a bargain. So why do they offer such a low price? Simply, they finally realise the power of upselling and cross-selling, and they can't get the opportunity to upsell or cross-sell if they don't get themselves in front of their prospects. This Groupon is designed for one purpose only: to get themselves in front of as many prospects as possible, and the best way to do this is by giving them what are basically free services. But here's what most businesses don't understand about this strategy. This Econolube is breaking even by offering this Groupon. And those 8 free services you see listed along the bottom, you can select any 3 of them per visit, because Econolube is going to perform all of those services anyway. They know that most of their profit comes through their higher dollar servicing and repairs like batteries, brake repairs, transmission services, engine repairs and suspension work. So after the technician changes your oil, they're going to check your car all over to see what they can find wrong with your car. Here's where they get the chance to sell you a brake job, new tyres or whatever. Notice Econolube also offers to do a complete vehicle trip check, where they do a complete inspection of your car before you take a long trip. Well, of course they want to do this. I guarantee you that after checking your entire vehicle, they will find something wrong with your car. And since you're leaving on a long trip, you'll naturally want them to fix everything that's wrong. Are you starting to see the brilliance of this strategy? So the key takeaway here for this strategy is to get yourself in front of your prospects as often as you can, so you give yourself more opportunities to sell them more. Econolube also gets to obtain their contact details so they can keep in contact with them in the future. Here's another example. A restaurant that was experiencing reduced sales decided to analyse their profit margins on their menu and determined their highest profit margins were their wine, appetizers and desserts. This restaurant literally doubled their sales on all these 3 items by training the staff to offer them to every one of their clients. For example, they instructed their staff to bring an appetizer and wine cart to each table before their clients ordered, and offered free individual samples. Then the staff repeated the same process at the end of the client's meal by bringing the dessert cart around and giving free samples of each dessert to everyone at the table as a way to entice clients to order more. The taste and reciprocity instantly double their appetizer, wine and dessert sales and easily increase their total revenue by more than 25%. So do you think you could easily find some upsells and cross-sells in your businesses? Most businesses usually get up to 34% increase in sales using this strategy. But let's keep going. Next, check out our fourth formula component, higher prices for what you sell. I like to use a bundling strategy here. Bundling is simply the process of grouping together certain products to create packages which are then sold to your clients. When you do this, you completely eliminate the biggest complaint most business owners have these days, competing on price. Bundling removes the price from the equation by creating an apples to orange comparison. You have to remember that customers today shop value and not price. Unfortunately, businesses are lousy at conveying their value proposition. So therefore, prices become the only value proposition left to consumers. The key to success in marketing is to offer more value than your competition. Prospects will pay twice the price if they believe they're receiving 4 times the value. Unfortunately, most businesses, in a vain attempt to increase their value, begin to offer discounts, and that often destroys their margin. Did you know that some businesses discount their price a mere 10%, they now have to sell 50% more just to break even? For example, if you sell a widget for $100 and you have a 30% profit margin, you make $30 on every widget you sell, right? That means your cost basis for the widget is $70. If you discount that widget 10% and sell it for $90 instead of $100, your cost basis is still $70. So you're now only making $20 instead of $30. For this business to make $1,000 profit in selling their widgets at the $100, they need to sell 33.3 widgets. But by discounting their price 10%, they now have to sell 50 widgets. So they now have to sell 50% more widgets just to get back to their original profit margin. But consider this. When was the last time you saw a business offer a measly 10% discount? Most of the time they offer 20 to 40% discounts and then scratch their heads wondering why they're going broke. And to add even more bad news on top of this already bleak scenario, did you know that the latest research shows that discounting doesn't actually impact the prospect's buying decision unless the discount is for 40% or more? Want to know the closely guarded secret that successful business owners don't want you to know? Stop discounting. Instead, innovate your business so you offer more value than your competition, even if that means increasing your price. When you discount your price, you lose the full value of every dollar you discount. Bundling increases the perceived value so prospects buy more. Consider a home builder we work with. He was competing on price with other home builders in the same area, so we came up with a bundling strategy for him. On surveying his clients and prospects, they said that a home entertainment and security system was very important for them to have in their home. So the builder went to his suppliers of electrical goods and completed a deal for a whole house entertainment and security system, including a 55-inch smart TV, a complete high-quality surround sound system, a complete home security system including surveillance cameras at every entry point, and a complete fire protection and monitoring system. The retail price for this package was $22,800 installed, but the builder required them in volume for around $6,500, and since installation would not be part of his cost, because the builder is already building the home from scratch, so installation would be handled during the actual building of the home by his crew for next to nothing. Now imagine this builder competing with other home builders in a moderately priced neighbourhood. All the other builders offered homes in the $239,000 price range. Our builder now offered his home for $249,500, which included his additional $6,500 out-of-pocket expenses. But his home now comes standard with a $22,800 home entertainment system and full security system for free. Which builder would you buy from? This allowed them to double their normal sales and practically double their overall profits every year. After all, they're still making 30% profit on their $239,000 home. Are you starting to see the potential here? Similar bundling strategies can easily be introduced for many types of businesses. Here's the marketing campaign that was developed for this builder. But consider this fact. In the case of the builder, the home security and entertainment system wasn't something they normally dealt with. It wasn't a product they typically carried. They simply discovered that this was something their prospects wanted to have included in their homes, and by doing this they almost doubled their sales. How many products do you think you could bundle with your products and services? And what increase in sales do you think it might make in your business? Now let's discuss our final profit component, more profit. Obviously, there are two major ways to increase your overall profitability. Increase revenue or decrease the cost of doing business. Let's discuss increasing your profitability first. How about a really simple strategy like raise your prices? Most small businesses never raise their prices. That's because they don't know the facts when it comes to increasing their prices. They're scared to death that any price increase, no matter how small, will lead to a mass exodus of their customers. But is that really true? Let's say you sell a widget for $100 and decide to increase the price by 10% to $110. Will that small increase really lead to a loss of customers? Honestly, I believe a few will leave. But they are most likely your biggest price shoppers that show no loyalty or patronage to your business anyway. They will try to beat you down price-wise every chance they get. But even though there will be some customer attrition, to what extent? Let's look at the numbers. The business selling this widget is now making an additional $10, all of which is pure profit. Right there, that's a 33% increase in profit. For this business to make $1,000 in profit selling their widgets at $100 each, they need to sell 33.3 widgets. But by increasing their price 10%, they now only need to sell 25 widgets. That means that just to break even, this business could lose 25% of its customers over a measly 10% increase. And that simply isn't going to happen. Of course, you need to perform a thorough price analysis of your business and determine the most lucrative price increase. But this is definitely a strategy I strongly recommend to all my business clients to help them increase their revenue. There is simply no faster or easier way to generate additional revenue. As you can see by the many different strategies I've shown you, you can easily increase your revenue by 10 to 50%, no problem. So when you execute each of these 5 strategies, you've just created a system for your business that will generate a consistent, large number of leads, conversions and sales on an ongoing basis. This systemization of your business creates a self-sustaining model that runs on its own, without you having to be there yourself. This is where you start to gain not only economic freedom, but also freedom of time. The definition of a business, I think, is an enterprise that creates a great profits without you having to be there all the time. Otherwise, it's just a job. So let's recap. In step 1, I showed you how to generate more leads, where I showed you some simple low-cost ways to create all the leads you'll ever need, which will increase your profits and sales exponentially. Step 2, how to increase the number of conversions. Also showed you some simple low-cost ways to convert more and more customers from your leads, another great way to grow your profits. Step 3 was more transactions. How to accomplish more transactions from your customers so as to increase your total revenue using upsell and cross-sell strategy. Remember, 34% growth in most businesses. Step 4 was how you get more profits, where you learn a couple of easy ways how to increase your profitability. Just bundling alone will give you much higher profits and take the price out of the equation. Step 5 was higher prices, where you learn how you definitely need to increase your prices as the upside far outweighs the downside. So when you leave here today, you've got a lot of great information from me, right? But if you've never done this before, it can be a little bit overwhelming. You could do it all yourself, but can you make it work? So what can you do about it? Is it okay if I show you the fast and easy way to make all this happen for you? Introducing Mr. Business Fix's e-learning business academy. where you receive step-by-step instructions on how to implement all of these strategies right now. The great thing E-Learning Business Academy is that you'll receive step-by-step instructions and be able to implement these strategies in your business now and get the profits you've always wanted. You'll receive access 24/7, 365 to my online business academy, where you'll receive all my proprietary business strategies, which includes many more than I've shown you here today. You'll get access to my online confidential business assessment to put you on the right track to success. You'll receive my confidential online marketing assessment so as you'll know which strategies to implement first. You'll receive my 52 weeks of fundamental business training delivered to you by email, or you can access it through my members site. Total value of all that is $1,997. You'll also get access to my $1 million marketing and advertising library, where there's marketing campaigns for more than 100 different types of businesses, including landing pages, websites, full page ads, half page ads, radio ads, TV ads, ideas guides, and much, much more. You'll get access to my elevator pitch library, where there are elevator pitch samples for more than 60 types of businesses. And if your business is not there, we'll also have a template which shows you with a workbook on how to create your own elevator pitch and be unique. You'll have access to my email marketing library with email marketing and sales templates for more than 100 different types of businesses. Here are some examples of the marketing campaigns. This is a $40,000 campaign for a home improvement contractor. Here's a $35,000 campaign for a bathroom remodeler. Here's a $50,000 campaign for accountants and financial planners. Now, these campaigns are all written by professional copywriters and have all been tried, tested and proven. You'll get full support. You'll get unlimited Skype calls with me one-on-one to guide you through using the Online Business Academy. You'll get unlimited email access so as you can fast-track your way to success to create your profit-generating machine. Total value of that is $997. So here's what you receive. You get access 24/7, 365 to my E-Learning Business Academy. You get unlimited Skype calls one-on-one with me. You get unlimited email access. That's a total value of $2,994, but you won't pay that much today. Remember Trevor Capper and how he grew his business from a one little man show to a multi-million-dollar business in just over 2 years? Trevor's now semi-retired. Plus, I want to reward you if you've already made up your mind. You'll be happy to hear you get these awesome bonuses as well. Bonus number 1. You'll get access to my 5-step profit formula training, which covers the 5 steps I've covered with you here today, plus many more strategies in each step. You get access to my Quick Start Profit Formula Accelerator, so as you start to generate profits and cash flow right from the get-go, valued at $997. Bonus number 2, you'll get a one-on-one personal intensive strategy session with me to evaluate your business so as you know exactly where to start. That's valued at $497. So here's what you get. You get the E-Learning Business Academy. You get the unlimited Skype sessions one-on-one with me. You get unlimited email access. You get my 5-step profit formula training. You get my Quick Start Profit Generator. And you get one-on-one personal intensive strategy with me. Total value for that is $4,488. But because you're committed to be here and I have something awesome for you and you won't pay that much. Here's a quote from Donald Trump, whether you like him or you don't. But he says, watch, listen and learn, because you can't know it all yourself. And anyone who thinks they do is destined for mediocrity. I love that. Can you do this another way? Sure. You could spend years learning this information, spending hours and hours on the computer and still not getting the results. Just wasting more time and money in the long run. Or you could hire a business coach and a marketing expert to do it for you, costing you around $5,000 to $6,000 a month. But will they have my 35 plus years of experience? Plus, I'm absolutely committed to your success. The fact is there's no comparison, and you won't pay that much today. Here's why. I have an amazing offer for you today. Because I want your success story, because your success is my success, and because I'm looking for people to partner with and spread the word, after today, the price of this package will at least double. So here we have $4,488 in value, but you can buy it today only at $997. If you go to bestbusinesscoach.com.au/members/sign up. If you own a business or you're looking to start one, this will be the best investment you'll ever make. You cannot learn any of this information at a university or anywhere else that I know of. Not only that, but I'm so confident that you'll be super happy with this program. I'm going to give you my 30-day risk-free 100% money-back guarantee. If you're not happy for any reason, just email me and I'll refund your money. So here we go. We've got a total value of $4,488. Today only $997. If you're struggling with the $997, I do have a $97 a month for 12 months. That's a today only buy. You go to bestbusinesscoach.com.au/members/sign up. You can go to either option when you go to that site and click on whichever one you want. I'd like to thank you all for being here today. I just want to say I'm so proud of this program, and I believe that if you implement just half of these strategies, you'll be well on your way to creating your $1 million business and profit generating machine.